Well, it's just quick stops. You know, you weren't running that fast and stuff. Or you don't think you are, I guess. You're running faster than you think. And yeah, I went over Tony, and he was a little groggy, but looked like everybody would be okay.
Glad you're okay, Kenny. Thanks.
Yeah, the reason I felt kind of sorry for Schrader was, you know, he was the first guy to car down in Daytona back last February, and I worried about him.
So Sterling Marlin, the point leader, becomes the race leader.
Like a champion, he laid back, was smart.
Yes, he did. Look, I could see nothing. All of a sudden, smoke cleared, and there's that 20. Barely missed. That's a hell of a job, Sterling.
Well, it was a great job. I mean, you got to be lucky as well as good. You know, some days you can be both.
And I think that's basically what Sterling Marlin was saying. You know, I couldn't see. I just happened to go to the right place at the right time.
Must have a leprechaun on the ride-along program today. Tony Stewart is going to be airlifted by helicopter to a local hospital to get him checked out. We have no report yet on any injuries. Our hope is that this is precautionary. We have had 2 drivers tell us that they've talked to Stewart and he's going to be okay.
Well, might get sighting here again, boys.
Coming to another green flag. 53 laps to go. 12 cars on the lead lap.
Marlin, Stewart, or Marlin, Earnhardt Jr., Sadler, Harvick, and Newman. 1 veteran and 4 young guns at the front, and one of them wants the lead.
Inside, clear behind him, clear low.
He didn't waste no time taking that lead.
No, and just think, just a few minutes ago, he was a lap down.
But Darrell, you got to remember, and we know he was in clean air. We talked about that. He pulled away from those leaders by 10 seconds.
Well, he's in clean air again, and he's going to be hard to chase down with 50-some laps to go. He's not going to have to pit again. So I think he's in pretty good shape right now. And Gordon back here got a great car, but he's got to go through 10 other cars to get to him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. down on that apron, shoots that car back up the racetrack to the top of turn 1 and 2.
He's done that a lot today when he's been running by himself. And Darrell, he didn't waste a lot of time or his car taking the lead. He just went right after it and got it.
His car's been really good all day on new tires. Sterling's been really good on the longer runs. Elliott Sadler's been kind of right in the middle, so I wouldn't count him out either.
But we saw what Elliott Sadler did there. It's a lot of things we've seen Spencer do a lot, try to get to the bottom, and as you say, you bog the car down. You just can't get the run up off the corner.
You almost want to shift gears. You need to get it up in third gear, get a little power up off the corner.
All these cars now are at pit road lap 225. That's 68 laps to go. As far as any strategy, you just go till you see a checkered flag, or if we see another caution flag, you'll get 4 more tires.
Yeah, don't be hollering about tires, because you're going to go to the finish on what you got.
As I like to say, you got what you got.
You got what you got. Now work your hands and not your mouth.
And do you think that's why Sterling Marlin did not put up a fight for the lead?
I think Sterling knows his car well enough to know that it's going to come to him, and Dale Jr.'s is going to go away, and he's set right where he wants to.
Let's go to the pits.
Hey, DW, you're exactly right. We heard Tony Glover say on a short run, there's a lot of guys better than you, but after 10 or 12 laps, you are by far the best car on the racetrack, so be patient. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, an update from the hospital here. NASCAR officials Mike Zizzo has reported that Tony Stewart is complaining about pain in his lower back and lower leg area. He is going to be airlifted to Carolinas Medical Center in Florence for x-rays, but right now the prognosis looks good for Stewart.
Thanks, Matt.
You get knocked around like that inside the car, your body goes through a lot of twists and turns. He's going to be sore, and hopefully he'll be fine. The bad news is he's got to run 500 miles at Bristol next weekend.
Oh, boy.
Isn't it 500 laps? It just feels like 500 miles?
What did I say, 500 miles?
Yeah.
It does feel like 500 miles.
You know, I've been watching the score monitor, and I think this says a lot for how good Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is. Our monitor will tell us who ran the fastest lap when they ran it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has run the fastest lap of his race just 3 laps ago, 29.97.
Boy, that's faster than anybody. Nobody's been in the 29 since the race started. But those young guys out front, they can gas it up.
Especially you put them with less than 100 laps to go.
The race pace has picked up. 8 drivers have just turned their fastest lap of the race.
And I tell you, I think why that is, we were under 15 laps of caution. NASCAR blew the racetrack with the blowers. Got all the debris off of it, got all the rubber off of it. She's got a little more grip than she had before that caution.
Yeah, and it's late in the day, and I'm sure our track temperatures have probably come down some, so that's picked up the speed.
Earnhardt Jr. quickest, Ryan Newman coming on.
I just can't. I'm impressed with Ryan Newman. I was impressed with his qualifying run. I don't know how he made it through that run. And today to get in that backup car, keep his calm, cool, collective. Here he is in the top 5.
And sitting second in points.
Second in the points. Chasing a veteran. Pretty savvy little guy there. Pretty savvy race car driver.
Now, Kevin Harvick was one of those who were caught on the tail end of the lead lap by the earlier crash at caution, by the Kurt Busch spin and Brett Bodine crash.
I mean, he started in 16th, and he's just one of those guys that picked the right spot to go through in that big cloud of smoke back on the backstretch.
I've been watching Jeff Gordon in his car, again, just like before, Larry. It's just not that good in traffic. Now, once these cars get single file and spread out a little bit, he might be all right, but I don't think he's got enough time to chase down Junior.
No, he's back in 11th position, 7.5 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The only thing that'll help anybody, and it's going to be a while happening, is traffic, and there's just not going to be that much.
Now, you see, he's a little quicker than Junior. That number, well, now it goes back up again. It was coming down.
Gordon has a terrible time off turn 2. His car is too tight off that corner.
I believe Sterling Marlin's car is coming to life here about 10 laps after this restart to the outside.
Look,
going into turn
smart racing. We don't need to be held up here. Gordon's back there. They know that. That's a product of being worried about the guys back there back behind them. Let Sterling get in front. You follow him. He's faster than you are. I can't tell you how smart that is. That's so impressive when you see somebody do stuff like that.
Don't race him now. Race him 40 laps from now. 43 to go as the track too tough to tame. Darlington. Welcome back to Darlington. Wonder what that fella drove to the track today.
He's happy right now, I know that.
Sterling Marlin in a Dodge leading Elliott Sadler's Ford. He's passed Dale Earnhardt Jr. for second place. So it's Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet.
And you know, I said that Dale Jr. was smart by letting Sterling go by. Folks, there's a strategy to everything that you do. The teams, the spotters, everybody's talking to the driver. You don't just go out there and hold people up and get yourself in trouble. There's a time to pull over and let somebody go, a time to follow them, a time to race. That's part of the whole deal.
Here's that race for second place.
And you can see, Junior just pulled down. His spotter called him, his crew called him, said, look, 21's faster than you are, let him go.
Just like he did for Sterling Marlin a few laps ago.
And we beat ourselves to death here about racing the track. He's racing the track.
Now there's Tony Stewart, who is going to be airlifted for X-rays. Again, which we hope are precautionary, as Matt reported. Young Guns. Maybe we talked too much about young guns last week. We thought today would be the day of the savvy veterans. But look who's up there in the top 5. 4 out of 5. Sadler, Earnhardt Jr., Harvick, and Newman. And right behind Newman, Jimmy Johnson's almost. He only lacks a car length to be in the top 5.
Well, we don't want to forget about Rusty Wallace, who is in 7th place. You know, he's had an up and down day, but right now he's in the top 10 there, having a great day, and his old heap's running pretty good.
Rusty with 2 second place finishes here. Never won here.
Oh, don't say that. It makes him mad.
Never yet. Hasn't won here.
Right.
That's it.
There's Russell. He just tootling along. Kept his nose clean. His car's not beat up.
Elliott Sadler.
Whoa!
Sterling Marlin in.
I think something happened to Sterling.
Did he get a piece of the concrete?
He may have.
Let's see.
We're all around. Back at your rear.
Car comes by. No really apparent damage.
He got pretty close, Dick.
Elliott Sadler has simply been reeling him in. We've been watching the scoring monitor, and lap after lap after lap, this interval is getting smaller and smaller, and Elliott Sadler right now has got his eye on the leader. What a day this would be if this young kid could win here at Darlington this afternoon.
And we were talking about Bristol next week, and who is the defending champion of that race next week?
Mr. Elliott Sadler.
You got it. So that working out he's been doing for the interviews, he might be able to get a few of them, Jeff.
I
I hope you're right there, DW, because that's a fine young man right there, and he's right now up on top of that wheel, holding a pretty wheel as we watch him come through off that corner trying to run down Sterling Marlin. I don't mind if he outruns me today.
Well, that 21 is no stranger to victory lane here. The Wood brothers 8 times have won at Darlington, and David Pearson, who carried that 21 to many of those wins, is the track's all-time winner with 10 victories.
Clear.
You saw Mark Martin, who returned to the racetrack. Ward Burton has also come back on track after that crash.
Came in here third in points. Every lap is important when you're battling for that championship.
31 laps to go at Darlington on Fox.
The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
5th place is the race. Ryan Newman battling Jimmy Johnson, trying to hold Johnson off for 5th.
They've been battling for about 25 laps.
Well, this is the Rookie of the Year battle as well, right here.
And they got to use, it's getting late in the day, and they got both of them in the top, let's see, 5 here, 6th, 5th, and 6th. They got to take care of their stuff and not wreck each other. That's the main thing.
Darrell, 8 of the top 10 drivers right now have never won here.
And pretty young, too.
Here comes Johnson down on the inside of Ryan Newman down here.
Never thought Dale Earnhardt Jr. we could say he's older than 4 of these guys, 27 years old.
The Wood brothers have 8 victories here. Cale Yarborough gave them their first back in 1968. David Pearson won 6 times. And Neil Bonnet, the Southern 500, 1981. The last, most recent win here for Glenn and Leonard Wood. Here's Dick.
Leonard Wood, one of the original members of the Wood brothers, first came to this racetrack in 1953. Now age 67. Guess who was underneath the hood of the race car this morning setting up the carburetor on Elliott Sadler's car? Leonard Wood nervously watching his car running in 2nd spot.
What a shame. Jerry Nadeau in the 25 car, one of the lucky guys, got that back on the lead lap a while ago. He's had a really not a good year. His best finish 15th at Las Vegas. He was running 10th, and here he comes to pit road with about 20-something laps to go.
Dave Blaney back in the race and in the pits, back into the race after that crash. Let's go back down to Dick.
Well, Jeff Gordon has called into his pit crew and said he thinks he has a tire going down in that number 24 car.
Luck is fleeting, especially at this place.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon sits there, leads the race, uncontested, gets in trouble off of turn 2, no fault of his own, and now his day's gone down to 2.
But his real turning point was not of his making, Darrell.
Oh, yeah.
He had came to pit road for 4 tires, routine pit stop. Kurt Busch, we think, misses pit road, brings the caution out, puts him back in the field. Now look at him here.
Yep.
Well, it's been a bad day to be the leader. Steve Hart led the race, ran over a lapped car. Jeff Gordon got caught up when Tony Stewart, leading the race, ran over a lapped car. Been a bad day to be the leader.
Who's got I'm telling you, got a pretty good old heat here is Rusty Wallace. He keeps closing in on that 48 and 12 up in front of him there.
Well, as long as those guys run side by side, which that's what you're supposed to do with 20-something laps to go. You don't let anybody have anything. Rusty will continue to reel them in.
He made some adjustments early in the race, got him way behind. I thought he really got himself in trouble, but he's dug himself out of the hole, and here he is, running in the 7th spot.
For the first time since Daytona, all 3 of NASCAR's premier divisions in action at the same track on the same weekend. Let's give you a little bit of update. As yesterday, Jeff Burton led flag to flag in the Busch race. You saw on FX, Jason Keller picked up the point lead by 12 over Greg Biffle after 4 races. And in the Kraft